Kathy. Welcome to the Colorful Homeschooler Podcast, where we parlay on productivity, personality, passions, education, and theory. I'm a lover of Jesus, a wife of 20 years, and a homeschool mama of 4 special needs boys who keep me constantly active. I'm so glad you're here to join me. Pull up a chair. There's space for you at this table. Hi there. Welcome. I'm so excited to finally be talking to you. Today we'll be talking about productivity for the homeschool mama, for your dreams, your aspirations, because lady, you are important. You are part of God's plan, and He has things that He wants you to do. But with a homeschool mama schedule, how on earth do we do that? What is productivity? What do you think of? Do you think of cleaning, baking, making sure your house is presentable, getting everything ready on time, planning lessons, all of those different things? Well, Webster's defines it as the root word productive, the act or process of producing, to bring about, create, to cause to exist, to give rise to. But how do you define it? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? What are your aspirations? There is room to cause these dreams to exist, to bring them about, to give rise to them. First, pray about this dream. Is this a dream from the Lord? Ask for His guidance, for His peace. And then let's talk about setting goals. So I said the word goals. Right away, I know there are 2 groups of you. You're either excited and bouncy, like, what's it going to be about? Am I going to get some new tips for setting my goals? And then there's others whose eyes glaze over and they're like, ugh, not the goals, nonsense, right? That's the difference between my husband and I. So I'm the excited and bouncy one. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get some new ways to make my goals more streamlined, to make them happen, to get more productive, to be able to do more things, and still be pleased and happy and flourish at the end of the day. And then there's my husband who's like, I just get stuff done. I don't want goals in front of me. So let's talk about goals. SMART goals. So this is the most basic thing when we're talking about goals. SMART. Are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they actionable? Are they relevant? And are they time-bound? So specific. Get as specific as you can. For example, I wanted to make this podcast, so I said on my goal list, podcast recording by Q4, which is quarter 4, and we'll get into that in another episode. Are they measurable? So I have very specific, broken down pieces of that huge goal to record a podcast in Q4. So it was come up with my cover, make sure that I have a name that I like, brainstorm on the music, what feel do I want it to have? And each of these tiny steps are measurable. They're also actionable. So measurable, have they been completed? Check. If it's a fitness goal, you might say, I want to be able to run 6 intervals in such and such a time. See how specific I got? I have numbers in there. I can check it off when it's done. Is it actionable? Can I actually do this thing? Is it fake? Does it not actually show me a way to do it? Oh, I really want to be prettier by the end of the year. What? How do you do that? How is that a goal? When are you going to be able to check that off? When are you going to be able to measure that? How is that actionable? What do you do in order to achieve that goal? The R stands for relevant. What smaller goal are you making for the larger goal? And is it relevant to that larger goal? Make sure that it has specifically to do with that, right? Ladies, our minds are funnels. So if I have this goal, well, maybe it intertwines with this other goal over here. So can I make this tiny little sub goal that has to do with both of them and is maybe not so relevant to the main goal I'm working on, but it does get my house clean? No, stop it. Be specific. but be relevant to the main goal. And finally, is it time bound? So going back to that fitness idea, it was, I want to be able to run 6 intervals in such and such a time. Well, what is your practice time going to be like? I want to be able to do this in 6 months. Okay, great. There's a time goal. I said my goal, record podcasts by Q4. So by quarter 4, I best have done it. If not, then I am late on my goal and I need to seek out, is this still a goal for me, number 1? And number 2, why isn't it getting done if it's still a goal for me? Those are the important questions at that point. So specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, underneath making sure that these goals are SMART goals, we want to have some goal domains. That makes it a lot easier to stay productive in different areas, such as household, family, homeschool, personal/fitness, creative work. What do your domains look like? And I do have domains on each of my goal lists because I need to make sure that, to the exclusion of homeschooling, I'm not making more fitness goals and I'm only focusing on fitness. Well, we're all balanced homeschool moms. That doesn't work. We need to have goals in each area, each domain of our life in order to feel successful so that we can take those moments of self-care and we can have those personalized goals, because I'm also working on making sure I spend more time with each of my children. And again, making that a specific and actionable goal. So I want to make sure to go out with each child once a month for an hour. Well, that is a specific and an actionable goal. Did I get out with one of my 4 children for an hour this week? Might be for a walk or a cup of coffee or playing a board game in the middle of the lawn. Something specific to the 2 of us. That's actionable as well. So make sure you have goal domains to make yourself feel successful in that respect. How often should these goals be written out for? So productivity experts will say there should be 5 short-term goal classes. There should be a day goal. We'll do more on that later. What is your most important thing in the day? A week goal. Now, for the week, what on earth does that mean? Goals for the week. Well, one of the important things is to plan your ideal week. This is not like I'm dreaming and my ideal week is on the beach in Tahiti. That sounds lovely, but that might not be happening exactly right this instant. So, what I mean by that is, look at your time over the week and say you're homeschooling every day from 9 to 3. Okay, or you are cooking dinner from 4 to 5. So you put those time blocks in. Maybe you've got occupational therapy on Thursdays from 3 to 4. Put that on the calendar. Maybe you do meal planning and lesson planning on Friday afternoons from 3 to 5. Put that on there. Schedule out your ideal week where you're getting all of the things that have to get done on the calendar first. Then you're going to look and see the large blocks of time. Well, lunch every day. Okay, but I actually do the dishes and the laundry at that point in time. So is that really free? Probably not. But at night, on the weekends, where are my free blocks of time that I can look at and say, I can maybe do some research for a podcast at this time. And I can do my running in the morning, and I can kind of work out my fitness goals early in the morning. I can work on my Instagram posts on Thursday and Friday mornings and make sure that they drop at certain times, schedule them for dropping. So all of these things are ideal. That's the key word here. So some weeks, if I'm overwhelmed by certain things that are going on in my teenagers' lives, maybe I can't research on Monday night. So that's going to have to be kind of put off to a different time. But the ideal week is just a really good snapshot of the time that you should have available every week. And then make sure you build in that wiggle room for yourself. So have downtime. Don't fill every waking moment as a productive mama. That will not do well for anyone in your family or yourself. So these are our goal lengths of time. So we've got day goals, week goals, and then a monthly goal domains, and quarterly goal domains. So this is what I call my staircase. So we've got the day, the week, the month, the quarter. And I do revisit these constantly. And I'll do another podcast episode about revisiting the staircase. But you want to make sure at the end of the month, if you haven't obtained a goal and perhaps you take a look at it, well, life changes all the time for us, right, ladies? So that one might not move over to the next month. That one might just get flushed down the toilet. And that's okay. You can't consistently ride yourself with these goals. This is meant to help you to increase your productivity for your dreams. Also, long-term goals are important. You want to build a life for yourself, right? You're not going to be homeschooling forever, as much as it seems like it. I started homeschooling 10 years ago, and I am graduating my oldest child this year. And when I started, people would say, "Are you homeschooling all the way through?" And my response was always, I can think about this year right now. I cannot even picture 10 years into the future when my oldest will be graduating. And guess what? I'm here, and I can't believe it. So if I hadn't had any sort of goal for this whole time, maybe I would not have gotten that much done, as much as I have. So set your goals, your long-term goals, and revisit those. Again, we'll have a whole nother podcast on revisiting, but that should be part of your staircase. They're going to be revisited a lot less, though. So we said before, the day goal, we would kind of hear a little bit more about that. So most of us who would be listening to a productivity podcast are list makers, yes? Human nature is to head to the least difficult thing. So immediately when you look at your list, for me, it's washing dishes. So easy, brainless. I can sing, I can think about things, whatever. It's like super simple. And sometimes it is irritating to me how long other people take to do the dishes if they're doing them in my house, like my family. So it's just like, I'm just going to do the dishes. Well, that's going to be the least difficult thing on my list. Human nature, that's what I want to do. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to really process anything. I just really need to put the sponge to the plate, and then it's fine for me. Laundry is another one. Just these are brainless tasks that really don't move the needle, right? Do you understand this, this verbiage, move the needle? So on your dreams, doing the laundry, washing the dishes, this is not going to move you forward, move the needle. So when I look at the list, what is the one needle-moving thing that you would feel satisfied at the end of the day if you completed? Okay, so that would be your day goal. The one thing. We don't add all of the other things off our list. The one thing that at the end of the day, you lay your head down and you're like, yes, I completed that one thing, and that makes me feel great. That one thing on the road to my dreams. Jerry Seinfeld actually created a list for himself when he was first getting started in New York City. And he would put a red X on his calendar every day that he wrote a joke. Well, after 30 days, he had an unbroken chain of red X's, and it became a dopamine hit for him. Just completing that chain, not breaking the chain. So can you do your one needle-moving thing each day to move you on the road towards your dreams? Pull out that one big thing and call this your mayfly goal. That's what I call it. So a mayfly, many of you probably know, it only lives for one day as an adult. So that mayfly goal, only a one-day goal. What is the needle-moving thing that is a one-day goal for you? Okay, now, we've prayed, we've set our goals, but how on earth do we get done? Here are some tricks to help you get started. So have all things out for you to use. What does that mean? Well, if you're an artist, you might have a corner, a small table where your brushes, your paints, and your current canvas are out. or maybe your sketchbook and your pencils are all together in one spot where all you need to do is pick it up. What if you're a woodworker? Okay, well, you've got your specific boards, your power tools, and the things that you need to immediately set to work. Whenever you have those 15 minutes that we just talked about, do it. That's going to make it available to you quickly. It lessens the time it takes for you to get started, and it lessens your ability to move to the next easier thing on the list, doesn't it? If all of those things are out, you don't have that wall blocking you from getting started and sapping that energy that could be put into your creative work. For example, knitting and quilting stuff, it's right in a basket, so you just take it right out. Your manuscript is clearly labeled on your desktop of your computer. You don't have to search for the file, nothing. It's just bam, done. So having all of your things out for use. Number 2 would be setting up systems for yourself. Well, what does that mean? A system is a set of tools to help organize your brain, to help understand what step you're on, what's next, and execute the work in the most efficient way possible. For example, I am doing something called skin cycling right now. It's a 4-day cycle that I do with my skincare products. So the first day is a deep exfoliation, the second day is something different, third and fourth. So that's a system. I don't need to think about it. I've got a pretty chart that I made for myself next to my sink. I just slap a sticker on when I've completed day 3 or whatever it is. And then the next day I come in, I don't have to think about what skincare I'm doing to glow up my routine, right? It's there for me. I already thought it out in the beginning, and now I just have to execute it. I set up a workflow tool to make it easier for myself. I took that extra brain power out of it. So for my podcast, say Monday and Tuesday are research days. I write script on Wednesday. I work on Thursday recording. Friday I edit. The following Monday I release. So there you go. That's a system. I don't have to think about what I'm doing that day. I don't have to think about what that big day goal is, because I've already set up a system that's going to work for me for that time period. And this, again, takes that brain work out of it. It takes that wall away that keeps us from entering into immediate productivity when we have 15 or 20 minutes to ourselves, because that's about all we get some days, yes? So we have talked about systems, and we've talked about having all things out and ready for your use. Now, how many of you have heard of batch working? Batch working is grouping similar tasks together to complete in one time period. Now, this is highly applicable to our weekly or daily tasks like meal or lesson planning, cleaning certain sectors of the home, etc. What about for creative work or dream work? How about painting the base layer of 3 paintings at once? What about recording all of your month's episodes for a podcast at one time? What if you have some beautiful artwork that's available on Etsy, or you sew aprons? What about taking all your product photos at once, or writing all your product descriptions at once? What about woodworking, cutting all the corner pieces at the same time? This is just going to lower that jumping in time again. Okay, I've set up my systems, all my stuff is out, and now I'm doing all of this job today, and then all of that is done for the next day. This, again, maximizes your output. It maximizes your workflow. So when you have those 15 minutes, bam, you're getting stuff done. Now, ladies, there is the factor of our cycle. Many studies are showing a strong correlation between the highest output during the follicular phase and ovulation. We are awash with estrogen at that point in time, which drives our energy forward and gives us this ability to get more done. So we can sync with our cycles, which is called cycle syncing. This makes us driven, more focused, and more determined to do what needs to be done. You're less tired. So I have another podcast coming where I will deal with the stages of our period and what the new studies are showing. But for now, use this small amount of information to your advantage. So, recap. We've prayed, we've set our goals, and we've made them into manageable tasks. We've spoken about having all things set out, batch working, and setting up systems to streamline your work effort. And finally, tapping into our cycle energy. There is so much more we can talk about with this, but let me leave you today with just this. You can't be productive in all things at all times. Like our cycle, life has seasons too. In this great journey of parenting, in this great journey of homeschooling, you matter, my friend. Your dreams have value. Give them space. Allow yourself the time to let yourself dream big, and come up with goals to make your dreams a reality. Give them space. If you enjoyed, please follow and share with a friend or on your page. And please leave a 5-star review if you enjoyed this. That really helps the algorithm to let others know about this podcast. And it keeps me able to make productivity and creative content. There's so much more coming. Next week, I'll be sharing some productivity tips for planning for the holidays. I try to ask some great questions and get your mind rolling on how to make this holiday season the most successful and productive one yet, and filled with sweet, wonderful holiday memories that will last forever. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week. And remember, ladies, my dear friends, I believe in you.